Joe. We tried to get rid of him, but he came back. Welcome to Tort Talk. I'm Marc Rioux, and joined, as always, by Jon Robinson and Joe Fantini. This week, we are counting down our top 10 mass tort power rankings, the litigations you need to watch right now. We're breaking down why Hair Relaxer is holding its crown, how Uber's $8.5 million verdict is shaking up the top 3, and why Roundup has hit a historic low, and a new tort breaking into the top 10. Plus, we've got the latest on the social media trial, the brand new Roblox MDL, which cases are moving up, which cases are falling off. Let's dive into it.
It's great to be back from Los Angeles. I was there for the social media addiction trial last week. You want to see my interview with Matt Bergman? That actually went live a couple days ago. You should check that out. There's all kinds of great insights about what's going on behind the scenes in that trial. It's closed door. You can't get inside. And we hear from Matt, and it really is a great interview. We're going to start the Mass Tort Power Rankings for February. Off at number 10, we have Bear Hugger. Finally cracking the top 10, Joe. It's legacy mass tort with over 9,000 cases. Has there been some good progress in this litigation?
There has, finally, John. So this mass tort's more than 10 years old, but the numbers are up there. We have over 9,000 filed cases. We're continued to see a couple hundred cases filed each month. But finally, we're starting to get some pressure on the defendants, 3M, by basically getting these cases worked up and ready for trial. So the judge ordered 150 cases to be worked up in 5 separate groups. Each one of them are going through the traditional discovery, expert, and then if there isn't some sort of resolution, getting remanded to trials all across the country. So those cases are finally moving. And then we have some action outside of the MDL, a couple cases filed in various states across the country, with a big trial kicking off next week in Texas. So with the Texas trial and these remand cases, there'll be some movement this year. There's a lot of cases out there with Bear Hugger controlling 80 to 85% of the market share.
Yeah, it's great to see a new entrant into the top 10 with Bear Hugger. At number 9, we have some disappointing news. Talcum powder. The bellwether verdict out of Philadelphia resulted in only $250,000. What happens next with talc?
Surprising verdict there, like you mentioned, out of Philadelphia. Almost a month-long trial, came back with $50,000 in compensatory damages and $200,000 in punitive damages for an estate of a woman who used Johnson & Johnson products for years and then diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Obviously, we're hoping for a much higher number. I think the positive takeaways are the expert survived. The jury was on our side. We got punitive damages, certainly a lot less than what we were hoping for or saw in prior trials. But I think this reinforces that the jury is on our side and so is the science. So we'll continue to move forward with this litigation, getting some more bellwether trials worked up, cases towards trial. In the MDL, we have almost 70,000 cases. So this is the largest MDL. I think we're going to keep getting more pressure applied to the defendants, and I'm still optimistic we'll get a resolution before the end of 2026.
Coming in at number 8, weight loss drugs. So staying flat over last month with 2 lines of cases. Again, we've got the vision cases, we've got the gastrointestinal cases. We've got about 3,000 gastrointestinal injuries filed in the MDL. What comes next in the litigation?
Yeah, so like you said, we have parallel cases going on. We just had the MDL formed for the vision loss cases in December. Right now, we're seeing a lot of the momentum in the gastrointestinal cases. Over 3,000 cases pending right now. We're doing some discovery. We're getting these cases worked up. We'll have some summary judgment motion practice probably in the late spring here, get some rulings. And if we get past that stage, I think we can start looking for bellwethers about spring or summer of next year. So those gastrointestinal cases, once we get some positive rulings, I think the litigation's really going to pick up. The vision cases are going to be dragging a little bit, a lot less plaintiffs out there. But I think the gastrointestinal litigation, we get past that 10,000 threshold, maybe a year, 15 months, once we get some good rulings.
Yep. Keep making progress on weight loss. At number 7, we have the relatively recently consolidated Roblox, the newest mass tort on the list. How's the MDL shaping out?
Yeah, so it's kind of the who's who getting appointed to co-lead counsel in this. We got a lot of excitement about who's going to be on that plaintiff steering committee, kind of guiding the litigation. As more time comes out, and I'm speaking to some of our colleagues, it seems like there's going to be a lot more cases out there than I initially anticipated. I didn't think we were going to get past maybe 5,000 cases, but I know firms that are investigating a lot of really serious incidents involving roadblocks. So this is one that's going to be kind of to watch as we move forward. Roblox is really focusing on trying to get these cases into arbitration. They don't want them to see court. They don't want to go in front of a jury. So once we fight back that, I think we can get some good momentum going, and then we'll see the dockets really building in this litigation, probably in the second half or the fourth quarter of 2026.
Yeah, there was some news about that last week with Roblox making some public statements about wanting to keep all of these lawsuits behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's always what they want to try to do. Not uncommon to see that from these big, powerful defendants, right? They don't want people to know really what they're up to, what they've done, the injuries they've caused. So I think we have some good arguments to overcome that, whether the parents were able to truly consent, maybe in some of the instances and some of the cases out there where the children consenting, can a minor consent to something like this? All really important issues that are going to be fleshed out. But I think we can overcome that, and this litigation moves forward.
My prediction, this continues to move up the power rankings, and we will see a lot of progress in Roblox over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
At number 6, we have Depo Provera. Holding steady at number 6, can we see a bellwether trial before the end of the year?
That's what we're scheduled for right now. Supposedly, we're going to have the first bellwether trial kick off in December of 2026. We were all a little bit concerned potentially about a potential preemption ruling. We're still waiting for that. Seems like we're going to be able to survive that with no problem. We have these pilot cases that are being worked up. So if we're able to get the bellwether scheduled about 2 years out from the MDL forming, that would be great, not only for this litigation, but also for all mass torts in the future, hopefully a roadmap to help us get these cases to the jury, because that's when we know the pressure really starts applying to the defendants. So we'll continue to see movement here in Depo Provera. Science seems pretty strong. The label was updated. Things are in favor. So this will keep rising, I think, as well in 2026.
What is going on at number 5 with Roundup?
The power rankings darling has fallen.
It's coming in at number 5. It's not to say, people don't believe in this case. We still think this is a winner. I think one of the biggest developments recently was the oral argument is scheduled for the Supreme Court. I believe that's going to be April 27th. And then we'll hear from the court before the end of June on the ruling. So that's going to have a huge impact. We actually saw in Paraquat the defendants trying to stay the litigation or seeking to dismiss the cases based upon this issue being brought up to the Supreme Court. So not as much excitement right now. I know people that are out there still acquiring new cases, but it looks like somehow, some way, this litigation is really going to wind down before the end of 2026. Bear set out to make that their goal of this year. I think they're going to accomplish it. So we'll keep our ear and eyes to the docket, see what type of filings come out. Anything unique, we'll keep you guys updated. But still a lot of people out there that need help. These cases are still viable. We know the defendants already paid more than $10 billion. It's just there's some hotter torts out there with better opportunity right now to get involved and help more people.
Moving up the chain to number 4, we have video game addiction. It fell a little bit in the rankings, but is this because of the strength of other cases, or is this because of issues with VGA?
I think it's because we have strength in other cases. We have a lot of momentum going on right now. There's been a lot of trials to kick off 2026. And I think we're learning a lot in this social media addiction trial. So that's going to give us a little bit of a roadmap. But we have social media addiction ranked higher because that's further along. We're in front of a jury right now. We kind of flushed everything out. So video game addiction is going to take a little bit more time. There's a lot of people out there that need help. We're still formulating that litigation. It's growing a little bit slower than we thought had there been an MDL. But this one's going to keep in the top 5, I think, throughout 2026 and probably be around most of 27 as well.
Yeah, just so many people who were involved in that litigation, so many possible defendants. And remember, our power rankings are the mass torts we recommend getting involved with right now, or at least investigating getting involved with. So early on, VGA, this is one to, I think, take a look at just because there's just the breadth of this potential litigation. Moving on to number 3, we did see a result come back a couple of weeks ago in the Uber sex abuse trial. It has now cracked into the top 3 following that $8.5 million verdict. Is Uber continuing to fight? What does this look like as we move on to the next bellwether in the coming months?
Uber definitely is continuing to fight. They've been one of the most fiercely defendant MDLs that I've ever seen, but we were able to have that huge breakthrough, like you mentioned, that Arizona trial, returned the verdict, $8.5 million for a very deserving client. And this really is going to help the litigation going forward because now Uber knows that we can and we have won other trials. So we're going to continue to get the cases worked up. There'll probably be another series of bellwether trials. As you remember, Uber won the first trial that came back with a zero-sum verdict. Now we won one for the good guys, one for Uber. I think we're going to have to do the dance another 2 or 3 more times before we see a global. But Uber's making changes to their platform. It is helping bring about change, which we all set out to do. But this is one to get involved with. There's still some cases out there. We've been successful in trial, but they're going to continue to fight us. I don't see a global in the immediate future right now.
Yeah, it's just good to see that we're making progress here. We did have Lyft consolidate a couple weeks ago. So, Uber will continue throughout 2026, and we'll see what happens as we move forward to the next bellwether. At number 2, we have social media addiction. So this is the trial going on right now in Los Angeles. We had Adam Mosseri take the stand last week. Believe we have Zuckerberg slated to take the stand this week. At number 2, this is a very, very interesting litigation. What else can you tell us about what's happening here?
I think everybody's waiting to see this Mark Zuckerberg versus Mark Lanier battle. This is going to be one, for the history books, but there's a lot of positive momentum on this litigation. We're in front of a jury where we want to be right now. I think if we come out victorious in this case, there's going to be other bellwether trials coming up already scheduled. We have school district ones set as well. So there's already 5,000-6,000 cases between the MDL, the state court. We have the various AGs are in on it. So the pressure is definitely mounting on these social media big tech companies. We already saw 2 of them settle out. So I think they realize that they have problems here across the country and across the world. We're seeing changes being made. We see Spain is banning minors under the age of 16. We're seeing similar laws being enacted in Australia. So things are definitely changing, but I think we're going to get a good result here, and then everybody's going to be in on it. Jon, what do you think? Do you think something can come out of this trial that makes this the number 1 mass tort out there?
I do. So I've been paying very close attention to this, and having sat down, talked with Matt Bergman, I sat down with him the day that the defense did their opening statement, and we went right into one of the plaintiff's experts. And one of the claims made by the defense is that for YouTube is not social media and YouTube is not addictive. And that just makes absolutely no sense. These platforms are addictive. They are social media. The claims are against them as like product defects, which if you eliminate the content from the conversation, which I think Bergman and Lanier have done a really great job at setting the table for, you wind up looking at these in isolation from the content that's actually on the platforms and realizing that it doesn't matter if someone's looking at things related to depression or suicide, or if they're looking at teddy bears and they're looking at food places. It's the mechanisms that are keeping people engaged that they can't look away from. It's triggering things in people's brains that are keeping them addicted and constantly swiping. I don't see a way that Meta and Google step away from this without losing this trial, or maybe there's still a chance that there's a settlement before this winds up getting to verdict. But I think that this is absolutely going to be in the plaintiff's favor. And I think that moving forward, we're going to continue to see plaintiffs do well here. And also in parallel, as you mentioned, the social media companies start to put more changes in effect as we're seeing it being forced upon the companies in other countries. Here in the United States, we're kind of leaving it up to the companies to implement the changes that are necessary themselves, which they are going to have to start doing, or they're just going to continue to face lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said. We could see a settlement. I would be shocked if this comes out in a full defense verdict. Even if it does, right? Even if that under 1% chance it does, it's going to give us the roadmap like we saw in Uber. There's no way that we lose back-to-back trials in this litigation. I think it's going to give us a good idea about what's the value of one of these cases. And then hopefully we can work with the defendants, wrap our arms around the total number of cases out there, come up with some reasonable settlement that's not only monetary and compensates all these victims, but brings about this change that's really needed. So this one could be number one, maybe as soon as next month.
We'll see what happens. I think maybe by the time people are watching this, we've got Zuckerberg on the stand, and we'll see where the chips fall. Before we hit number one, we're going to give you the ones to watch that didn't quite crack the top 10. We've got toxic baby food, which is currently waiting on Daubert.
Yep, waiting for that Daubert opinion to come out in the MDL. We're more than 2 months out from argument, so should be here within the next 30 to 60 days.
We also have, I believe it's pronounced Duplicit or Duplicit.
Yep, that's the new one on the block, right? So this is a medication that's used to treat various type of ailments. It could be used for severe eczema. It could be used for asthma, and it causes a very rare type of cancer, T-cell lymphoma. Actually got word today that they're filing for JPML. Beasley Allen's taking the lead on that one. So we'll have a hearing on that in a couple months. Could be a mass tort by the second half of the year.
Moving quick. Definitely want to keep our eye on. And ones that we're kind of holding on to, wait and see. We're still waiting on Tylenol. Does the Second Circuit breathe new life into this litigation, or does it go back to where it was a year ago?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that opens up. We'll have a ton of cases coming in and a ton of people to help. So no decisions imminent. I think we'll get in the first half of the year.
Whether you're looking to break into mass torts or you're just looking for a partner you can finally trust, RR Digital is the answer. We have over a decade of experience in the mass tort space. We're reputable, we're proven, and we're relentless when it comes to exceeding our clients' goals. If you're ready to get started, visit rrdigitalmedia.com.
And coming in at number one, we have hair relaxer. It remains in the top spot from January. We currently have over 11,000 active cases. What are some key dates everyone needs to keep an eye on as this litigation holds its number one spot in the power rankings?
Yeah, the key date we're trying to get is the bellwether trial. So we don't have a firm date set. I don't think it's going to be in 26. It's probably going to be in 27. Hoping for a scheduling order with regard to that on the next month or two. We'll have some summary judgment motion. We'll have some experts. We'll keep you guys updated when that briefing comes out. But we like this tort because it's got the numerosity. It's really mature. The defendants are there. The science is on our side. And there's still a little bit of time, another year or so to get involved. So coming in at number one, staying there to start the year. But social media addiction's definitely on the heels of hair relaxer. We'll see how it shakes out next month.
It is great to see mass torts really making progress over the last month. I mean, 2026 has been great. So much activity. We're heading into conference season. You got MTMP coming up in a couple of months. A few other conferences that are happening in the next few weeks. Just so much going on. Thank you for joining us, Joe.
Thanks for having me, guys.